Are you longing to feel connected and not so alone? Longing to be happy and more alive? Badass Counseling is excited to announce the creation of Community Plus, a subscription-based private group of folks just wanting to more closely share their soul journey together with like-minded folks and with me, Sven. For a monthly fee, you'll get bi-monthly live Q&As with me, Sven, giving you a better chance of getting your own questions answered. A private community feed for you to post pictures, successes, struggles, joys, even the occasional cat picture, creating greater connection and help for healing and growth. Random drawings for free small group sessions and drawings for private coaching sessions with me. Priority access to becoming a guest on the Badass Counseling Show podcast. Unlimited access to my DIY video courses, Healing the Soul and Unleashing Your Greatness. And so much more. Community Plus is for people serious about their soul journey who want real growth, real help, real laughter, real connection, and true community. Join us now at badasscounseling.com.
From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Hello, 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 fine people. It's great to have you here. You have reached the Badass Counseling Show. And whether you're joining us from Tunkhannock, Indiana, I believe, or from Victoria, Australia, whether you are here from Baltimore, Ontario, Canada, it is just wonderful having you joining us. This is where we take rapid fire questions. I'm joined in studio by my team, KC over in the booth and Rob the Rocket next to me. Sophia the artist could not join us this evening. Rob the Rocket, it's nice to see you happy. How are you, young man?
I'm feeling good. One of the best parts of our lightning rounds is checking people in from all over and having a little geographical patter back and forth.
It is. I
enjoy that.
And we don't air that in the actual podcast when the podcast goes up. That's something we do before we start the actual taping. Yep. And so we get to see where everyone's checked in from. So it's fun to reference some of those. And it's crazy where we have folks checking in from literally. So when I'm mentioning these people in these different cities and states and countries, we literally have people checking in from those right this very moment while we are taping. First question of the night is from Michelle. What do you tell someone who says they don't have a purpose? Well, I assume you're asking me what you tell them versus what I tell them. So I'm going to tell you what I tell them, and then you can decide whether or not you want to use it. Somebody saying they don't have a purpose is someone saying they aren't in touch with what their purpose is. I'm of the absolute belief that everyone has a purpose, and it's already inside of them. It's not something you go and you find. It's already there. It is. And it's just like, and you guys have heard me use this example a million times, but it's like in wintertime in northern climates in the United States, that what happens is all of these deciduous trees, they drop their leaves, and all those leaves land on your yard, and you don't ever give them all raked before the snows come. And so they land on your yard and they blow, and they always blow to the corners of houses and onto your flower beds and so forth. And then the rains and the snows come and the mud and the decomposition and so forth. So that come spring, you've got a pack of crud on your flower gardens. And it's wet, and it's nasty, and it's frozen, it's packed heavy, and a leaf blower isn't going to cut it, nor is a simple rake. You got to get a heavy rake, and you got to rake that crap off of there. You have to remove the pack from the long winter, the pack of all those leaves and snow and ice and crap. And then when you do that, what happens? Those flowers, those perennials, effortlessly grow up. The daffodils, the jonquils, the crocuses, the lilies of the valley, the peonies, they effortlessly grow up. It is the same way. If someone says they don't have a purpose or they don't have a passion or they don't know who they really are, it is not because it's out there and they haven't found it. It's because they're in there, but there are so many other messages, so much bullshit they were taught about themselves, bullshit beliefs they were taught about themselves, packed on top of it. And what they have to do is begin to remove the pain, the fears, and the bullshit beliefs they were taught about themselves. And the more you do that, the more your authentic self will effortlessly begin to blossom up. This is why I tell people, you don't ever have to read any of my books. You don't ever have to watch any of my 1,500 or whatever number we're at now, 1,700 free videos on social media. You don't ever have to listen to my podcast. Just if you remember nothing else, do one thing. And you can do it without any prompts, without any helps. Or you can, use some of these free prompts. You can use some of the books or go to the library and check out some self-help books or whatever. All you really need are things that will prompt you in getting out the pain, the fears, and the bullshit beliefs you were taught about yourself. And that requires journaling and writing letters that you don't send. If you do that one thing, commit yourself to pulling out as much of the raw sewage that is inside of you, then your authentic self, your purpose will effortlessly, like the jonquils in springtime, your authentic self will effortlessly bloom, shoot up from within you. Your purpose will rise up from within, but you have to get out all those messages that you were taught about yourself, that you don't have worth, your purpose doesn't have worth, you're no good. You do that one thing. You don't even have to pay a therapist. I believe in therapy, I do. But even more than that, I believe in self-help. I had to get myself out of a 12-year suicidal depression. I have the scars up my arms to prove it. All right? I have 9-inch scars up my arms from my suicide. All right? And I had to get myself all out of that because I couldn't find a therapist who could help me out, who could really facilitate it. And I had to figure out my own way. So I'm a huge believer in self-help, and I know it can work for whatever you're in. I know that. You think it can't? Bullshit. I know it can, and I've helped people out of it. And I'm always giving homework for those that just want to go deeper. But ultimately, you have to remove the pack from the long winter of your soul. That's how you heal. That's how you find your purpose and your sense of worth. All right. Next question.
By the way, Balancing Forces says you've done more for him in the few months with your book than in 20 years of therapy.
Wow.
That's nice.
That's very gracious.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Eric, the Gremlin Cook, says, what's the best way to get over insecurity in a relationship? The best way, really, the only way long-term, is to go into what's causing the insecurity in the first place. And the insecurity has been taught to you. Somewhere in you, you've been taught to believe that you're not good enough, that you're no good, that you're unworthy of love. So that insecure, not secure, is that you believe that you're not lovable the way you are. You doubt your own sense of self. And so the origins of that are in your past somewhere. And so you've got to go in and find those and begin to root those out. And that's what I wrote the book for. There's a hole in my love cup. That's the purpose of the book. To help you find those origins of those BS beliefs you've been taught about yourself. All right? But the other thing is, the best way to you don't get over a relationship or get over insecurity in a relationship. You have to go into it and find the origins. But the other thing you do is insecurity is caused by fear as well. Fear of getting hurt. And so you need to go into your fears as well. What really is the fear operating inside of me? What am I most afraid of? What happens if that happens? All right? Going in to the fear going on inside. And the more we go into it and flush it out using journaling and writing letters we don't send and finding those BS beliefs we've been taught about ourselves, the more we do that, the more our insecurity begins to evaporate. Amanda Lee says, makes the comment, nothing better than listening to Sven while waiting out a tornado in Texas. Oh, good Lord. Amanda Lee, I do hope you're safe, young lady.
Same kind of force in work here.
Yeah.
By the way, Jennifer Gray asks a very similar question. How do I get past the fear of meeting someone new?
Yeah.
She cancels at the last minute, even though they've talked for a couple of weeks before the first date. Same answer, right?
Right. And that's tremendous fear, likely fear of rejection, that if I see you, you may not like me. And somewhere in you, you have the belief that you are innately unlikable and the fear. And so it's very easy to keep people at a distance in life. And you're not the only one. You're not the only one. There are a lot of people that we want to keep people distant, or even if we get in a relationship, I don't want to let them too close, because if you see who I really am, you may not like me, and that would hurt too much. And you might leave me. And that's scary and it hurts. Well, the solution isn't to force yourself into a relationship, because that belief that you're unlovable is still in you. So you're really like forcing something against what you've been taught to believe about yourself. But that was a bullshit message to begin with. How could you have been unlovable at some point in your life? It was a bullshit message, but you were taught it and you were taught to believe it. And this is why all of my work goes back to childhood shit. This is why my book was over a year long in the top 10 bestseller list on Amazon. And then occasionally still pops back up there. It drops down to like number 11 sometimes. But it's because it goes into healing the inner child, those core beliefs you were taught about yourself. And that's more important than getting out the pain and the fears and the hurts from trauma. It's more important than even that. The bullshit beliefs you've been taught about yourself, because until you get down to that, that's what you're fighting. All right, next question. It's hard to journal because I had parents who read my diary, put them out, and humiliated me and called me names. I get that. I had a former long-term relationship give my diary, my journals, to the mother of my children when my children were young, and they were then used against me in court. Misread, redacted, to be used against me in court with regard to my children. So your fear over journaling, oh, I totally get that. And that's 100% justified. 100%. So here's what I recommend. If you fear someone, getting your journals, using it against you, a couple answers. Put it in your computer in an encrypted file. If someone else is a co-owner of your computer, don't do that because they have every right to go into that encrypted file. If they are a co-owner, if they bought it for you, if you are their child, if you have a parent who bought you that computer or you use it in their home, they can go into your computer technically by law. If you keep written journals, and I'm the biggest fan of written journals, and you want to know how you can get past it if you fear someone taking it, all right? Simple. Journal with a lighter in your other hand. Or journal, and after you journal, walk into the bathroom, tear it up into small pieces, and flush it down the toilet. That's all. I literally do that. When I'm at the gym, heavy lifting, I am journaling during my heavy lifting. Why? There ain't nothing like getting a great workout than journaling on hatred and anger and frustration. Fuck this shit. Oh, I'm so mad at this client for not paying me or whatever it is. Fuck that. And then you just hit the weights. It's like, you mangle it, And then what do? I tear up my journals and I throw half it in a couple of trash cans and I flush the other half down the toilet. That's it. That's all you got to do. People think you have to keep your journals. You don't have to keep your journals. You can, but you don't have to. But you got to start journaling there. Okay?
Sven, I never told you this. My first wife left her journal out on the kitchen table where I could see it. And at the time I was fighting, I didn't want to get divorced, trying to save the marriage. But after reading it, I was ready to go. She kind of did me a favor there.
What did she write?
Oh, my God. You don't want to know.
I do. Tell us one thing.
I'll tell you after the show.
Oh, wow. It's that juicy. Now, you can't do that to our listeners.
Yeah.
See what he did to you?
All right. You want
we
me?
all say Rob's a nice guy. He's got a little dickish in you. He puts that treatsy treat out there, and then he robs us.
I'll spill. You ready? Because this was a long time. This was in the 80s, okay? So
right.
Enough time has passed.
All right.
She said she was talking about this guy that she met.
Yeah.
And she says, I go down on him, but Rob, I don't want to.
Oh.
How about that? All right. Are you happy now?
Oh, you fucking bitch. I hate you. I can just hear Kinnison now. I hate you. I go down on him, but I don't want to go down on Rob.
I remember the quote, Rob, I don't want to.
Oh, God, dang.
Yeah, I'm a very clean guy, too, honestly. There's nothing wrong.
Well, I'm sure it's not your fucking bathing. It's just she associated it with you, your person. Yeah, I had 2 long-term relationships, and both of them were very quick to tell me that my penis was not large enough for them. So I know sexual inadequacy and shit people say to hurt the ones they love, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So I totally get that.
I didn't.
Oh, yeah, that'll fuck you up for a while. Jun D on TikTok asked the question, daughter, no contact for 2 years, got Happy Easter card with no return address. What does this mean? Yeah, that's a little fucking brain teaser there. Your daughter's been no contact for 2 years. You got a card that said Happy Easter with no return address. What does this mean? It means someone is reaching out to say that they are thinking of you, but they don't want a conversation right now. And you know what? Sometimes in life, we just celebrate the small victories. Your daughter, who went no contact with you, reached out to you. Let it be that. That's all right. In other words, the door is not fully closed. Now, what you've got to do is you need to be doing the work in the meantime to be asking yourself, what's my part? Somebody once boiled down the old Heisenberg uncertainty principle into layperson terms that can be applied across platforms other than just physics. And this person said this, and this is sort of a layman's interpretation of the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. I must constantly remind myself I am part of the problem I am trying to solve. Okay? So your daughter checked out of your life 2 years ago. You got a Happy Easter card. So if they do return, let's hope you've changed from whatever it was that caused them to leave in the first place. Let's assume that what caused them to leave wasn't all their fault and they're just jerk-offs and my daughter's a turd and all that. Maybe I played a role in it as well. So what I'm going to recommend to you is this, my friend. I want you to go back to December 24th of 2023. So a year and a half ago. It's December 24th or 25th. And I go on either Instagram or TikTok. You're writing in from TikTok right now. So just TikTok and Instagram are great because you can just scroll. It's just thumbnails and you just keep scrolling back and scroll back a year and a half. And I'm sitting outside on like a tree stump and I've got a bomber jacket on and there's snow on the ground. And I do a video on the 7 things you can do to help your adult child heal. And I want you to go back and I want you to read that, watch that video. And I want you to do what I instruct you to do on that video. I want you to begin to do. Because the simple truth is, if your daughter does come back, she's been gone for 2 years, she sent you a Happy Easter card, no return address. In other words, she's not ready to take you back, but she's letting you know, I haven't kicked you out of my life. I do still love you. Or at least the door is still open. If you want to not fuck this up, go watch that video. Because you need to start looking at what you've done to fuck up this side of the equation. Because if you're going to cling to the belief that, hey, I'm innocent, hey, I was a good parent, hey, I did my best, hey, I have no culpability, you're fucked. But worse than you're fucked, she's fucked. Your daughter is hurting because your daughter likely believes that you've done something to hurt her. So wouldn't you want to try to heal? Wouldn't you want to try to give her the acknowledgement of how you did hurt you? Or would you rather deflect, defend, dodge, deny, and or give a quick apology to make it go away? Or would you rather truly own it? I'm a believer that in most situations in life, it's 2 people and they've each got to truly own it. And in the case of a parent, the parent has a greater responsibility for ownership because the parent has more power. All right, much more to come right after this short break.
Okay, well, you've heard the podcast, you've listened to other people's issues, maybe you've studied hundreds of Sven's TikTok videos. Time to stop lurking, face your fears, and focus directly on the one person in your life who can benefit the most from Sven's experience and insight. Now, that would be you. Just go to badasscounseling.com and order Sven's book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. Or check out his many video courses. Sven found a way to help himself out of a 12 years depression. It worked for him, and it can work for you too. Check out badasscounseling.com today.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
We are back, and we are going with a question here by John Krasinowski. And John over on TikTok asked the question, do you have advice for the extreme taker that desperately wants to move forward? John, you're in luck, baby. We actually just taped an episode of the Badass Counseling Show, counseling episode. And we don't get these very often. We had a gentleman write into the show, 49-year-old gentleman, and his name was Angelo. And we just taped the episode. And right now, at least for the next 24 hours, it is live on YouTube. And we're going to be pulling it down. I'll be pulling it down in the morning, but it's going to be cut, mastered, edited by Rob. And
June 5th.
And it will go up on the podcast on June 5th. This lightning round will likely go up before that, like May 11th, something like that. But that episode will be going up on June 5th. And then we're going to have a follow-up episode because this guy is really candid to the point where he even admitted, hold on, I'm going to grab my notes. It's right here. He even admitted at one point at 49, he admitted that I would have kept basically acting this way, but I finally, at first he said, I realized too late the damage I was doing. And I said, wait, you didn't know all those years the damage you were doing to the people you love? And he said, I guess I did know. I said, so it's not that you realized too late. So then why are you changing now? What did you realize? If you knew that you were hurting them the whole time. And he said, I guess what I realized too late was that there are consequences. I said, that's right. So you would have kept doing it had there been no consequences. That your wife finally got sick of it all and she said, I'm basically out of here. And she hasn't left yet, but she's going to very soon, likely. And your own children are sort of pulling away from you. In other words, the narcissist, or what I call the extreme taker, will get away with it for as long as they can, as long as there are no consequences, right? And then he said this gem. We drilled down, and you guys know me when I'm counseling, if you've listened to the counseling episodes, and I drill down on this fucker, and I drill down, and he's a good guy, and he's open, and he's honest, so I got to give him that. And that's why we're having him back. He wasn't a dick. He didn't try to protect himself. If anything, he was self-flagellating, actually, and it was authentic. But he said this, what we realized was, in his words, I'd rather protect myself than take care of those around me. Wow. And what we discovered in the episode is it goes all the way back to childhood. He was conditioned to act this way, to avoid all the pain inside of him and to get love. So what do you do to address being a narcissist? Go watch that video right fucking now on YouTube, because I'm going to be taking it down in the fucking morning. Otherwise, watch it on, listen to it on June 5th. All right. So that'll be coming up soon enough. Next question. Carrie Bratton Alley asked the question on Facebook. Is a poor sex life enough for a divorce? I'm going to ask the most senior member of our staff if he has any input on that one before I offer any input I might have. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, if there's a disagreement about what's important, what kind of intimate relationship is important and what isn't, then yeah, if that's an important part of life. It's an important part of health to have a good sexual relationship. If the person has a reason to not want it and you're okay with it, well, then there's no reason to divorce. But obviously, if you want it and your partner doesn't, and there's no way to resolve it, then yeah, I guess that's a pretty good reason.
If it's a big enough deal for you, it's really up to the individual. But I like what you said, Rob, because I've been in a relationship before where for me, I was okay with less sex. And the person wasn't necessarily asking for more, and she was okay with less sex, but we very much, snuggling, cuddling, playing around, just being very, very loving towards each other, the kissing and making out and, grabbing each other's ass and stuff. But as far as the actual humpity, there just wasn't a lot of that.
Clearly, in this case, the individual is disappointed.
Clearly, because they use the word poor sex life. Right. So, Carrie, that's a question that you can answer. The real question is, do you believe that a poor sex life is a reason enough to get the divorce? Because everyone is different, so only you can decide for you. All right. Smiles Sarah says, what's the best way to deal with borderline personality disorder? All right, folks, you need to know I'm not a psychologist. I do not. If you put in initials of psychological maladies, I will not respond. If you use psychological language and diagnoses, I will not respond. Why? I stay in my motherfucking lane. I am a soul counselor. All right? I will deal with any problem you have to offer, any question you have, as long as you don't put it in psychological language. Just put it in normal human language. What is the problem that is addressing you? So if you can tell me, Smile Sarah, what precisely you are referring to, what exactly is the real problem you are most faced with, then I'd be happy to answer your question. All right, next question. All right. Patty asked this question. Let's get an actual question here. Patty asked the question, how do I actually get it in my head that them ghosting me has nothing to do with me? Well, you can try to pound it in your head, but the bottom line is, Patty, is you are pre-programmed. Somewhere in you, you have the belief in you that it is you. And that predated the ghosting. Somewhere in your past, you were taught to believe that if someone walks away from you, it means something's wrong with you. Now, we all have some of that, right? Ever been left by a lover and you're like, shit, what's wrong with me? I'm too smelly. Really, gosh, I ask the stupidest questions or whatever it might be. We sort of turn on ourselves a bit. But if you do that a lot, or if that's all you do, that means somewhere in there you got the belief, I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me. So we turn on ourselves. So Patty, you believing that it's something wrong with you tells me somewhere you had the belief put inside of you that there's something innately wrong with you that would justify someone ghosting you. You believe that, which means you were taught to believe that. And that's precisely why I wrote the book. There's a hole in my love cup, to walk you through the process of getting that out. That's why I created the 1,500 free videos and this free podcast to create enough questions for you to begin the process of journaling on your own, even without buying the book, which is a guided process through it. But to just, once you start journaling and flushing it out and going and asking the right questions, you'll get down to what those core beliefs are that you were taught about yourself so that you can begin to heal from those. And then you're not believing that every ghosting or every time somebody doesn't like you, that somehow it's an indicator of you. All right? The deeper you go in your work, guys, the more powerful your sense of healing is, and you're able to walk through life without everything being this sort of grand offense of your person. Okay. Again, that really answers the next question. Kaislyn says, what to do when you don't know how to take risk? It's the same thing. It's terror. It's fear of looking stupid, fear of failure, and then what people will think. There are fears down in there. And again, that's what the book is for. There's a hole in my love cup to drill down to those core beliefs. You guys have to understand that the best counseling isn't about just pain and trauma and so forth. It's about getting down to the core beliefs that you are taught about yourselves, because that more than anything will keep you hamstrung from going after those risks, from going into relationships, going into social situations, whatever your fears are. They're driven by shit that you were conditioned to believe about yourself at very young ages. All right. Mara says, how do you trust after betrayal? I keep trying to trust these guys, but it seems impossible. It's not about the guys. It's not about the guys. It's about your own shit from your past. Right? You've been hurt before. You've been betrayed. And so the fear is that I'm going to be betrayed again. So I have to go into that fear. I have to go into those past. What you have is you have memories in your past that have emotional charges attached to them. And until you go back to those memories and begin the process of decharging those memories to the point where they're just a memory now. It's like, oh, I drove to the gym today. Well, why do you remember that? I don't know. Did you get in a car accident? No. Was it a pretty drive? No, it was just a road. Oh, so it's just a memory. Now, if I got in a car accident, there'd be an emotional charge. It was scary and it was frightening and it was, whatever else. It was angering because now my insurance premiums are going to go up. Now it's a memory that has emotional charges attached to it. So if you went through betrayals, those emotional charges inside are conjuring up, are being tweaked every time you meet a new person, that I could get hurt again. I could get new experiences with emotional charges attached. So it's conjuring up fear of feeling those feelings again. So what you have to do is go inside and decharge those. Well, how do you do that? You go in and you start fucking journaling about it. You write them letters that you don't send. You hurt me, you motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. Why did you betray me? I still love you. I still miss you. Gosh, you're an asshole. Or whatever the feelings are and all the words. And you begin to journal all that shit out. And the more you do it, the more you flush it out or talk it out with your therapist. But you got to go deep on this shit. I recommend journaling and writing letters you don't send because, well, it doesn't cost anything. Flushing it out, flushing it out, flushing it out. And the more you do that, the less fearful you'll be, and you'll be able to trust again. But what always gets in the way of trust is fear. All right.
Sven, here's one for you.
Give it to me.
Rob says, I'm a newly single man in my 70s and just starting to date. I've made a few new female friends, but if a relationship becomes intimate, how important is it to be exclusive? I'm new to all this.
If a relationship becomes intimate, how important is it to become exclusive? It's a personal question. It's up to each person. I guarantee if I was to put that to the peanut gallery, everybody would have a different answer, right? That's a conversation you have with the person. But before you have it with the person you're getting intimate with, you have to ask yourself the question, what do you want? What would feel good to you? And also, what are you open to? So maybe my optimum is, well, you know what? I'd like an exclusive relationship. But I'm also open, even though we're being intimate, I'm open to being intimate at least for a while. See how it feels, even though we're not exclusive, knowing that she could then go be intimate or he could go be intimate with somebody else. I'm open to playing with that idea if that's something they want, but then I need the opportunity to renegotiate later. It's really up to you. You have to go with what feels right for you. But then you sit down and you have a conversation with the other person, because it's two people sharing this intimacy, sharing this relationship, whatever level it's at. So it requires a conversation, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. Good? All right. Okay. Jasper Gammy says, hey, I just bought your book 2 months ago, and I'm procrastinating to read it. Yeah, I get that a lot. It's a scary book, and people take their time going through it.
Outside Hollywood is enjoying the book, but says, why don't you swear in the book?
Yeah, that was deliberate. People ask me that a lot. Sven, I was disappointed. You swear in your videos, but you don't swear in Love Cup. That was deliberate. I actually wrote that book before I ever got on, blew up on social media. I was on social media, but like Facebook and YouTube, but I didn't blow up until about 3 years after the book came out. And, swearing is my natural language. But if I'm being really, really honest with you, I don't swear in There's a Hole in My Love Cup for the exact same reason we don't discuss politics on my show, in my book, anything. Why? It just divides a lot of people. I'll swear in my videos because fuck off. It's my videos. They're 1 minute. You can fucking scroll through 1 minute. But the book is really, it's a significant attempt to change people's lives. And it's a very powerful book. And I'm not just trying to sell books when I say that. And there's a bunch of people right now on TikTok talking about the impact it's having on their lives. And we've been blessed in hearing a lot of feedback on that. Okay. But I wanted it to touch as many lives as people wanted to read it. And that's a hindrance for a lot of people. So I just thought, you know what, Sven, I'm going to write a book where I don't swear, because in most of my other books, I do swear. And so I stepped a little bit out of character, like the old days when I used to be a pastor. And yeah, I think that makes it easier for more people, because it's a great tool, and I want it to be available to a lot of people to heal.
Good marketing there.
Oh, thanks. Marketing through truth. All righty.
Here's a quick one I can answer.
Go for it.
Ready? Balancing Forest. You say put pen to paper, but can you make squiggly lines instead of words? Just thinking what you want to journal? Would it be the same without it being readable? The answer is no. You have to put words to what you're feeling.
That's true.
Okay.
We don't know what we think until we're forced to codify our thinking, either in words written or words spoken. We have to codify our thinking. And what's fascinating is once we see those words out on paper, now we're not experiencing it in us. Now it's out here and I can see it. Now it's a thing I can look at and manipulate and play with. You'd be shocked when I have people write those autobiographies, the people that say, wow, seeing my story on paper was actually kind of challenging. It was moving, etc.
Just quickly, is typing as good as writing? Asks little Miss Lena.
Yeah, I do both. Because in both cases, your hands can't move as fast as your brain. So it forces you to stay in what you're journaling on longer. It forces you to slow into the pain. And this is why I'm not a fan, as much of a fan, even of counseling, but people who do talk to text into their phone and think that's journaling, to me, it's not, because it's gone as quickly as it came. Now, if you go back and you edit those spoken journals, then it forces you to go back and read it and rework it. Then that's a little better. But I'm not a fan of spoken journals. Some people do it, and that's fine if you go back into it. But otherwise, no. I'm a big believer in pen to paper, but I am also a big believer in typing it out. I am. I've done that a lot in my life. Okay,
She says, agreed. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. You betcha. Okay.
There's a question here that the answer is yes again, if you want it.
The answer is, so you know the answer already and you want me to take it?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Here you go. It's a Sandy. I'm a 71-year-old person divorcing my raging husband. He says he will split things fairly. I don't trust him. I think he's trying to take control. He yells at me daily. Is this him just trying to control?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you've been at your age and this long with someone, you know his patterns. So you're not trusting him is not based on random distrust. It's based on years, decades of patterns. And you don't trust him. And likely he's only nice when he wants something and he rages on you. That is not somebody I would trust. You need to cover your ass. He's trying to fuck you. And if he isn't trying to fuck you, what do you lose by covering your ass? Not a damn thing. Get a good fucking lawyer. All right, next question. I'm going to take one more. Drat says, sir, I feel you are stressed. Take a break and relax for a week or two. Okay. Thanks, I guess. Yeah.
I'm writing down edit.
Okay. But the intent was good. That was very kind.
Appreciate it. Concern, compassion.
Cassie Lynn says, I'm at journaling my core beliefs and I don't know what they are. That's why you need the book. That's why you need the book, because it's going to help you drill down. If you don't know what your core beliefs are, it's because you have stuff inside of you. And this book teaches you to go down and begin to get out the raw sewage. What the core beliefs are first are the things you've been taught to believe about yourself. So I have 3 chapters in a row talking about messaging. The messages you were taught to believe about yourself. That's your core beliefs. And until you get under those, your authentic self, until you jackhammer those, your authentic self can't come out. So you have to get down and start to get at those core messages. And again, that's what the book is for. There's a hole in my love cup to help you get down there. Okay. How do I deal with a male narcissistic roommate when neither of us can move out? Not sure what the male part has to do with it, but keep your distance and be strong. Do not give in. Do not. And you have to be strong. You just have to and not back down. And that's going to lead to conflict. But either you can choose the conflict or you're stuck eating shit. All right. This is going to be the last one. This is a great one. I like this. Barb on TikTok asked the question, do the symptoms of trauma, specifically anxiety and abandonment, dissipate over time? No. Time heals jack. In and of itself, by itself, time doesn't heal anything. Time just causes you to learn how to get used to it. To heal, to dissipate, to truly dissipate, rather than, gee, I can figure out how to live with it. To truly dissipate requires going into it. The Sufi poet Rumi, you've heard me say this before, says, the cure for the pain is in the pain. You have to be willing to go into the very tidal wave of pain, the trauma, the anxiety, the abandonment, the sense of betrayal, the anger, the rage, the sorrow. You have to go into those feelings and begin to bring them up, welcome them, allow them to come up from your depths, welcome them, and facilitate their exit using counseling, using journaling, using writing letters you don't send, using other techniques I teach in my book. There's a hole in my love cup. You have to do that. Provide them a point of egress. But does time heal? No, time heals dick. Why? All you're learning is just how to cope with it. You're not actually healing it. It's not actually going away. This shit doesn't magically go away. No. And I'm not trying to make you feel dumb or anything like that. I'm just saying that is a very common belief. People think, if I can just figure out how to ride it out, then it'll go away. No, it won't. Yeah, well, she asked a follow-up question. With work, can it lessen so it's not so much at service? Yes. In fact, with actual work, it can be gone. You can get rid of it. That's the point. That's what all my stuff is about. It's not finding a way to just cope and deal with life. It's to actually get the shit out of you guys. All right, fine people. I love you very much. Thank you for tuning in. As you know, There's a Hole in My Love Cup is on my website, as is the more recent book, Badass Wisdom, which is a 366-day inspirational book full of daily quotes and little anecdotes, and then always journaling exercise attached to it. If you like the audiobook of that, the audiobook is also on the website. This one has gotten really, 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 really popular. Why? Because it's every day, it's a different topic. Every day, it'll kick your ass in a new way. Every day, it'll make you think deeply on something new. And folks have been really digging it. And it just gives you a daily bite-size snack of depth. And snacks are good. You need more snacks in your diet, okay? More snacks. All right, fine people. Rob, what say ye?
I give the last word to Sandy, the woman whose raging husband is making it difficult to get through the divorce. She says, he hates me reading your book, right? And then she also says, Sven gave me strength.
Hey, I love that, Sandy. And Sandy, you are not alone. I literally had a client yesterday, and not yesterday. Yesterday was Monday, right? Yeah. Oh. And the client said that he doesn't read my book when his wife is around because it upsets him, because his wife doesn't like how he's sort of finding his voice.
Tells the whole story right there.
Yeah, it kind of tells this whole story of the marriage right there, doesn't it? I like it when you have no voice, husband. Well, people, this has been delightful. I am going to get on a plane shortly in about 12 hours and go down to New Orleans and listen to some jazz. I'm going to Jazz and Heritage Fest. I've never been to Jazz Fest, and my girlfriend has never been to New Orleans. So we're going to have a gay old time. And Rob, how are you going to spend your week and weekend?
Well, I got my daughter's wedding coming up, so that's kind of taking up all my time. I got family coming in, and, getting the house ready for all that, and trying to figure out a short but snappy toast.
Wow, you're going to be witty. Rob is always witty. You give him a minute to think it out, and he'll have something.
I'm just full of wit. Everyone says that.
Yeah, you are so full of wit. Yep. So he has half a mind to be witty. Some might say he's a half-wit or something. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I got it.
Well, that makes one of us. I wasn't even sure what I was saying. It's been really great having you all here. I want to give a special shout out today. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I had the great fortune this past weekend to be the guest speaker at the Arizona yearly leadership conference of the Arizona National Guard and the Arizona Air Guard. And the U.S. military, every time I speak with them, are so welcoming, and I always love being around our soldiers, the commanders, and everyone, senior leadership, junior leadership, sergeants, privates, all the way up to the top, 2-star generals, etc. It was such an honor to speak, and I always love going to Arizona. It's one of my favorite states. And so just a shout out to all my new people and followers down there and friends down there. I really enjoyed my time there so very much, as did my girlfriend. And we just thank you for that experience. And on behalf of my team here at the Badass Counseling Show, which is Casey in the booth, and Sophia the artist in absentia, and Rob the Rocket, have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by 2-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.